It's popping.
I'm going to say what everybody in the world is probably saying right now, that they say after every game you play, you're just a bad dude, man. And I look at everything you do. I mean, obviously commercials, Hulu has live sports, you know, Adidas, you rap, you 3 kids, everything you do, but you still make sure that you bring your A game every night. Can you talk to the kids out there that want to do these things, want to have the fame and the publicity, but the work that you put in to be great?
I mean, none of those things that you just named would be possible without the work. And you know, I wasn't a highly touted middle school player, high school player, or college player. You know, I had to do my work behind the scenes, you know, like you did. I had to earn my way. And I didn't know that I was going to ever get the credit for it or ever get the results for it. So I know what it's like to be unknown and to, you know, not have the lights on you and to want to be seen and want a scholarship to a big school and things like that. I was behind the scenes doing the work. So I don't forget those steps that it took for me to get here. So, you know, even though I got a family and I got all these commercials and, you know, these endorsements, I don't forget the thing that makes all of those things possible, which is the work, the discipline, the humility, the compassion, you know, all of those things that I know I bring as a person. I know that's a part of why I've been able to get a lot of the things that I've gotten. So if I get away from doing what got me here, I'm doing my family and everybody else around.
All right, welcome everybody to the Charge. We're just listening in to Dame Dollar absolutely go crazy in tonight's game. I was going to come on here and talk a little bit of smack. I was going to say, you know what, this is the perfect time to kind of get with the Lonzo Ball thing, talk about this whole situation, but man, Dame Dollar, we're listening to him right now before we start the show. So, listening to him really quick, have a little thing in the background, and then we'll get started on the show.
A season high, 50 points. He adds 10 assists. The Portland Trail Blazers move to 23-16. You're now tied for 5th in the West. Dame, congrats, man. Thanks for joining us.
And there, guys, is it. How are you doing? This is, of course, your boy Bernie here on The Charge, giving the latest NBA news and rumors and also basketball opinions. Thank you once again for joining me late night. Today will be kind of a shorter stream. Probably won't go as long, maybe 20 to 30 minutes today. Just due to the fact that it's already late night, so I just kind of wanted to come in here and just kind of do my usual. Again, I do apologize for no notifying what's going on, but you know, the thing that we have to talk about, of course, is Brad Stevens going back to college. That's like the biggest storyline that I'm seeing so far. As a Boston Celtics fan, you're noticing a lot of Brad Stevens news lately, and I just think that I think Brad Stevens, honestly, his time is running very thin, and you're going to see that relatively in the near future. But of course, we've got to talk about tonight's game, Damian Lillard, and of course, the Portland Trail Blazers versus the New Orleans Pelicans. Now, say what you want about the Pelicans. I think that they are mismanaged. I think that the team that is coaching them, Van Gundy, is not a very good coach. Again, let's go to the live scene so we can actually talk about it and show you guys what I'm talking about here. Dame Dollar obviously went for 50. You know, Brandon Ingram went for 30. So you know that Brandon Ingram was doing his thing. You know that Zion Williamson didn't attempt a 3 today, but still had 28 points. But to be honest with you, the biggest reason as to why I think the team did so bad today is because I think Van Gundy's clutch situations, clutch moments, just didn't really get going. You know, if you look at kind of the play-by-play and just kind of look at the fourth quarter for the Pelicans, let's look at the fourth quarter for them. You know, it was a lot of misses, and we can kind of take away the makes for the Pelicans. I mean, how many makes do they have? They had a lot of makes, but again, we saw here, how many threes did they attempt? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 threes in the fourth quarter, and then we got to compare it to the misses, and of course the misses is what's going to be the biggest thing for me. Again, you have 3 misses from the 3, and then a couple of crucial misses in here that are definitely going to cause the Trailblazers to come back. I mean, it was at that point, you know, it was like, what, a 12, 13-point game, and then eventually, you know, you thought, okay, you know, Pelicans have this in the bag. Van Gundy's going to get back to the winning ways for them. But instead, what we saw is that the Trailblazers went supernova, and look at how many misses that they had. They had about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 misses compared to their makes. And if we look at their makes, it's absolutely ridiculous. I mean, look how many threes that they made. Logo Lillard everywhere, showing you Robert Covington coming in clutch. Carmelo Anthony, pull-up jump shot. You got the 3-pointer. I mean, you got so many of these threes over here on the right-hand side from Carmelo, from Lillard, from Covington. I mean, you're seeing the Trailblazers, are really surprising me. Not saying that they're going to be a team that are going to really be something, but I've always said this about the Trailblazers. I love the way that they play, but I still think a partnership of CJ McCollum and Dame is just not going to win them a championship. Which is fine. And I don't know if, a championship is necessarily, what they're going for. But, just to kind of reiterate my point, we're kind of looking at this right now. And the Pelicans, man, I mean, they fell apart. I mean, if we look at their second quarter, they were all over the place. And we'll get rid of the Trailblazers so we can kind of focus more on the Pelicans, because I really felt like they struggled a lot. They made a lot of shots in here. We look at their third quarter. I think third quarter they were kicking it, they were killing it. And then we look at the makes for the Trailblazers, and again, look, a lot of 3-pointers compared to how many is that? 3 here, and then only 2 here. And again, you look at all this, look at all the makes compared to the makes for the other team. And again, it just kind of goes to show you that we see how many threes that the Trailblazers take. And, the 3-pointer is always going to be prevalent in the NBA, no matter what. I don't care the way that Ben Simmons plays. I don't care the way that Zion plays. 3-pointers will always reign supreme because everybody understands the analytics of the game right now. 3-point shots and just taking threes in general are going to lead to better opportunities for you to come back in the game. I mean, let's think about this. The Pelicans have this lead in the third quarter going to the fourth. 10 years ago, you're looking at a different game. You're looking at a game where you see a totally different situation. You see the Trailblazers kind of say, you know what? We're going to lose this one, and we'll come back next time strong. And again, it's one of those things that you look at it and you're frustrated with the way that they play. You're frustrated with the way that things are going right now for the Pelicans, because you understand the talent on this team. But right now, what I'm seeing here is that there is no, in my opinion, there's no leader on this team. There's no one that's really taking command. I know that Brandon Ingram wants to be the guy. I know that Zion Williamson wants to be the guy. I know that Lonzo wants to prove a lot of people wrong, because a lot of people are saying, oh, well, he can't shoot anymore. He's a terrible player. But in my opinion, when I watch this and when I look at it, the frustrating thing that I notice about these teams is, of course, the fact that I think that they can play better. I think that they can really do a better job. And it just stems from looking at the players themselves. Lonzo Ball went 3 for 7. Not a bad stat line. 2 for 3. But the problem is that you can't have Nikhil Walker, you can't have Joe Hart 2 for 5, but then everybody else can't shoot a 3. Meanwhile, for the Trailblazers, everybody attempted a 3 in this game. Everybody, even Enes Kanter, who we know that might have been just a nice little, maybe half-court shot. I'm not sure where Enes Kanter's 3 came from, but again, everybody on the team for the Trailblazers attempted a 3. Meanwhile, you had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 people on the Pelicans who played attempted a shot. And again, it's just frustrating, man. It's and the reason why I'm, maybe I'm acting too much like a Trailblazers fan or like a Pelicans fan, but I think that they need to start looking at, getting the 3-point shot more. I understand, like, this is the problem by hiring Van Gundy. This is the problem by hiring coaches from a generation, two generations before. Especially when the game has changed and they have yet to show that they've evolved to, okay, we're actually going to play, this style of offense. Because you see and you notice the way that the Pelicans play, it's just not a lot of threes attempted. I mean, what is this? 16 for 33. Meanwhile, you had the Trailblazers attempt 10 more threes and made 2 more. I mean, it's just one of those things. And again, we could talk about the free throw discrepancy with Damian Lillard shooting 18 for 18. But again, it is what it is at this point. I'm not I'm not mad. But at the same time, you want to see some development. You want to see some growth. And unfortunately, I'm just not seeing that from any of these guys. I'm not seeing that from any of these players that we're looking at. And, we'll see what happens. We'll see if anything becomes of it. But at the same time, like I said, it is frustrating to notice that, I'm not really seeing a really big growth from the New Orleans Pelicans. I still feel like they're like 2 generations behind, and we'll see what happens with them. Again, I do think that they have the talent to be a good team. I do think that they have the talent to be at least a top 8 seed, at least in the top 8, but yet they haven't shown me wholeheartedly that they do. Now, again, 17 assists for Lonzo Ball. That should get you a W no matter what. Lobbing it up to Zion Williamson, getting it to Brandon Ingram. This type of stuff should really get your team a win. But instead, Damian Lillard had 10 assists, 6 rebounds. Meanwhile, Lonzo Ball put up some great numbers, 11 and 17. Not bad. But then again, you had Zion and Brandon Ingram. They can get you those mid-range shots. They can get you those jumpers, pull-ups, layups. But where's the discrepancy? 3 of 7 from Robert Covington. 2 of 2 for Jones Jr. 2 of 2 for Damian Lillard, 6 of 13. CJ, 2 of 7. Carmelo, 1 of 3. 3 of 7 for Gary Trent. Rodney Hood, 1 of 2. Again, a lot of these guys are doing a good job at attempting shots. And again, they did shoot 80% from the free throw line. But again, it does help when you get 31 points from the free throw line. But again, it might just be aggression. I understand that you got Zion Williamson, you got Brandon Ingram. They're going to be aggressive. They're going to go to the hole. They're going to do all these type of things. But again, we do have to give credit where credit is due to Damian Lillard, Dame Dollar. 50 points tonight. Absolutely tremendous game. Obviously 18 of that coming from the free throw line. But still, even 13 points out of 50 is still pretty damn good. So you're seeing here that, Damian Lillard is showing you why it's Dame time right now. He's showing you why he's one of the best guards in the NBA. And it's getting to that point now. We're watching him. We're seeing him play. And I'm really liking what I'm watching. And again, as someone that isn't the biggest Trailblazers fan, but you do have to put some respect on their name, especially when it comes to Damian Lillard. Carmelo Anthony seems to have found his role on the team. 6 assists, 2 steals, 9 points. Again, finding his role, finding his niche, and actually doing really well in it. So I appreciate Carmelo Anthony finding that role for the team. And again, we'll see what happens with this Trailblazers team. Do I expect them to go to the NBA Finals? No. But you do have to put respect on Damian Lillard's name. And so again, let's go to Dame versus the Pelicans really quick. And look at tonight's game. Tonight's game, I'm not sure if they have it just yet. Let's look at this from Rookie Production. Shout out to him. Again, let's go to... No, not the mini player. Hang on just 1 second. I got to put this back up. Again, we'll put it right here. Again, look at this. We're going to watch Damian Lillard kind of go off tonight. We're going to watch a little bit of the highlights, show you. I'm not really a big fan of these jerseys, but I think these are kind of like the statement ones. Again, and the thing is that Damian Lillard doesn't need to shoot 3-pointers all the time, but he's showing you that it is important. Again, great jump shot. Obviously, the roll, always got to have some friendly bounce. When you're a shooter's got to shoot. And again, you're seeing Damian Lillard each and every time pulling up. And I think, like what I say, he only made what? 3 threes? No, 6 threes, excuse me. 6 threes is still a pretty good number. Again, attacking the hoop very strong. So again, 6 3-pointers, that's not really that many points from 3-point land. So he definitely is doing his damage, driving to the lane, finishing around the rim, getting those and ones. And again, you're seeing a much complete player. You're seeing a tremendously, I would say, even improved. He's improved each and every year. He hasn't taken a step back, in my opinion. I have to eat crow for it. But I think that as it pertains to Damian Lillard shooting those threes, making them. Again, from logo Lillard, making it from the logo, making it from deep. You're seeing a tremendous growth and development for a guy that's already almost 28, 29. And again, he's still in his prime, and I think he will be for a long time. His game is so transcending that it allows him to create opportunities. Again, assist to Gary Trent Jr. Doesn't go up with it like I think normally a lot of people do. This was about the time when, the Pelicans were up ahead by so much, and then all of a sudden, a timeout you call, you're only down by 4? And again, you're going to see here, good screen, hits the 3. Again, clutch moments, clutch shooter, knows when and when to take those shots. And again, it just seems to me that the Pelicans, didn't really do their homework. I mean, this is an and one here. Obviously, whatever it is you want to call for it, it is what it is. But again, Lillard shooting it, get fouled, obviously put himself at the line, makes it. And then, of course, you got to go for it. Got to, just chuck something up. Try to force something. Zion Williamson tried to do something there. And again, just didn't work out. And again, I think Van Gundy needs to go back to the drawing board and figure out what rotation, what roster is going to work for his team. Because I think that this team is good enough, like I said, to be an 8 seed. But you have to unlock the potential of this team. 33 threes, I don't think that's like even an average around where like the most NBA teams are shooting at the moment. I mean, you're seeing there that they got up 88 shots compared to the Trailblazers 73. But the reason why they made it so much is because they actually went for it by shooting 43 times from three-point land compared to only shooting at 33 for the Trailblazers. And again, like I said, Lillard went to the line a lot, so obviously, people are going to complain about the fouls and stuff like that. But again, you're seeing a much tremendously improved player. You're seeing a player that's actually doing his due diligence, actually working on his skill. And again, what I do like about it and what I do like that Damian Lillard did is that, he kind of, like I said, he showed you his toolbox. He didn't just go all 3-pointers. He didn't go all layups. He hit some contested twos. He hit some layups. He also hit some 3-pointers. And, of course, free throws. That's also a skill as well, in my opinion. You got to be able to be a great free throw shooter in order to be, considered one of the best as well. Just because, in my opinion, when you hit the free throws, that really gives your team an advantage. If you can go to the hole and you don't have to waste a shot attempt, you can just go, drive in, get fouled, and you're shooting free throws. That's got to be a skill as well. I mean, that's the reason why I'm not necessarily too upset with guys like Harden and Trae Young with the way that they draw fouls. But again, guys did a tremendous job, and, you're kind of looking at the sort of the future of, or really you're just looking at a relic, I would say, with the way that the Pelicans play. It's a very old school style. Not Damian Lillard, excuse me, but Brandon Ingram, Zion Williamson, very old school players. A lot of people say that Zion is kind of comparison to Charles Barkley, which I think is a very good comparison. And then you also have, Brandon Ingram, kind of like that old school, like, shoot middies, almost like Kobe Bryant-esque in the terms of like that guard that can shoot, maybe a Tracy McGrady even. Not as smooth of a scorer as those two, but still a great scorer nonetheless. And I think what you're watching and what you're seeing is that style is just not going to win you games. And again, it's great to have those guys. It's great to have players that are able to do that. But again, they did miss a lot of 3-pointers. They did miss a good amount. Trying to see if we can. I don't think you can sort it by 3-pointers and whatnot. But again, you're looking at a great shot chart from them, and we'll see what happens in the near future. But let me know in the comment section down below, what did you guys make of the game tonight? Did Damian Lillard prove to everybody that he's a better guard than Steph Curry? That's something that I want to know in the comment section down below. And kind of to wrap up today's NBA news and rumors and also basketball opinions, I forgot to say that and plug myself in. So please remember to hit that like and subscribe button if you're new to the channel. And if you're just watching this on a repeat, we talk about NBA news and rumors and basketball opinions. Yesterday, we talked about the NCAA bracket. I showed mine, who I thought was going to win the championship. I'll let you find out on the video there. So spoilers here and there. But we are going to talk about a former college coach in Brad Stevens that could potentially be back in Indiana, where he's originally from. So Brad Stevens has been mentioned as a candidate for the recent vacancy job at Indiana's University. Stevens left Butler to become the head coach of Boston in 2013. Obviously, now it's been 7 years. We're seeing, Brad Stevens had such a great growth and progression, but I think it's halting a little bit, and it's not due to the fact that I think that he's a bad coach per se, but I do think it's a combination of him being more of a college coach, more of a, I'm going to take, the best out of what I have, where I feel like the Boston Celtics need a coach that can kind of coach superstars. And that's no shot to Brad Stevens because, again, his X's and O's are tremendous. They're great. But, again, I do think that they could find another better coach, in my opinion. But, again, let's talk about what this has to say. It means a lot, Stevens says, of the groundswell of support from him. It means a lot. I know I've listened to a lot of my friends back there. I've got a lot of people that are important to me there. My dad's still there. That means a lot. I won't act like that doesn't. Like I said earlier today, it's flattering, but I also realize I am the head coach of the Celtics, and that has been an amazing opportunity and amazing every day for the last 8 years. I'm extremely grateful for that. And we know that Indiana just fired their coach. And the reason why I think this is important, because I do think that it is time for Brad Stevens. I think, honestly, last year should have been the prove it year, because look, we had such great, tremendous growth. We had such great players. And I feel like we got shafted once again because we didn't really. I just don't think he knows how to coach Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown, who are now turning into superstars, and especially all-stars since they made it this year, to really hone their skills in, to really get them to where I think they should be at this point. I really think that they should be, up there in the echelons of great teams. We should be battling the Brooklyns. We should be battling the 76ers. But unfortunately, what we're ended up doing each and every time now is, we're struggling to be in 5th place. And, me and Tyrese, we talked about this. If Tyrese, if you're watching this either now or another time, you and me both understand kind of the pain that the Boston Celtics have put us through due to Brad Stevens. It seems like Brad Stevens' job is safe. I don't know how. I don't know why. And this is, of course, coming from YWC Grusbeck. I have no idea who this dude is. But I do think that we should be replacing Brad Stevens, or Brad Stevens and Danny Ainge, especially Danny Ainge, because we understand the Boston Celtics right now are just absolutely in piss poor shape. They're in terrible form right now. I understand that the Celtics are trying to find their form. They're trying to find their way back to prevalence, but I don't think it's going to be with Brad Stevens or Danny Ainge. So in my opinion, I think that they need to start looking for a new head coach. And look, nothing wrong with Brad Stevens. Like I said, his X's and O's are awesome. I think his coaching style is awesome, but it's just not NBA approved in terms of, I don't think the NBA players really respect that type of style. Again, very modern in the NBA game. I love his X's and O's. I think, like I said, we take some of that stuff from my coaching. We take some of his stuff and try and run it with our younger team because I think some of it can work. But at the same time, what is frustrating about Brad Stevens is that I don't think when it comes to the NBA, it's a very pampered league. You get a lot of guys that, have been ESPN Top 100, got everything that they wanted in terms of, when they went to the McDonald's All-American games and all these other things. Not saying that they don't deserve it, but that's kind of the type of that's the expectation. That's the type of lifestyle that you have to deal with, and it's managing egos. And I just don't think that Brad Stevens can manage egos of NBA superstars like Jason Tatum, like Jaylen Brown, compared to guys from college who are trying to earn that opportunity to prove it in the NBA. And again, I'm not faulting the players for acting like that. I think, they've worked their butt off. They've obviously done a tremendous job. Does it get annoying sometimes? Yeah, because that type of stuff leads to the complaining with the refs. And, we don't want to see that. And I know that a lot of players, a lot of refs are tired of it. I think the refs need to do a better job of, standing up for themselves, not get in a situation where they have to call a technical every time, but just, kind of own the room, own the paint, own the NBA court. And really get them going. And so, again, I would love to see that from the NBA. I would love to see referees do that. But as it pertains to, like I said, we're looking at right now, Brad Stevens, college coaching-wise, I think that that's probably more of his shtick. I think that's more of his gimmick because I do think that he's a better coach in that situation. Something that I really appreciate about Brad Stevens is that I think, like I said, the X's and O's are tremendous. And I thought that they were so perfect, when Jason Tatum was a rookie, when Jason Tatum was trying to find his role in the team. But now that he is the superstar player, now that now that he's built up this confidence, this ability that, tremendously, even Jaylen Brown this season is proving himself to be an NBA All-Star type of player. And the thing is with Jason Tatum and Brad and Jaylen Brown is that I do think that they also secretly probably want a new coach. I mean, not saying that Brad Stevens is a bad coach, but, he's been here for 8 seasons now. He's almost been, Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum have had Brad Stevens for a couple years now. And I do think that the Celtics, they were much better when Brad Stevens had to work with nothing than they are when they had these superstar players like a Kyrie Irving, like a Gordon Hayward, and then he drafted Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown. I think that that's what I'm seeing here. And again, I respect the fact that Danny Ainge drafted those two guys. They're good players. I understand that. But at the same time, what I do find frustrating about it is that, we had to turn those picks. You had the two guys. Like, look, we got too greedy. You thought Romeo Langford was going to be something. Obviously wasn't. Naismith, you thought was going to be something. Isn't. I understand that you took Pritchard, which I appreciate because I think Pritchard's a good player. But again, what's frustrating for me, like I said, is just the fact that I think that Brad Stevens could do a much better job at really, owning the room. And I thought Danny Ainge could do a better job of turning those draft picks since we got those two guys. You thought, you really went with a high pick with Jaylen Brown. Everyone was like, I'm not really sure about it, but you proved everybody wrong with it. But now it's about proving everybody right by actually trading those picks, not the Jason Tatum, because you obviously had, you felt for it. Lonzo Ball was going to be number 2. Markelle Fultz was the number 1 in that class. Obviously, it worked out for us in our favor. But again, you have to turn some of those draft picks into star players. Superstar players. I don't care what you turn it into, but you need to start turning it into it because, again, I don't want to be in a predicament. I don't want to be in a situation where I'm talking for the 8th time in a row in these next 2 weeks that we should have traded the Naismith pick. We should have traded the Romeo Langford pick if we weren't going to get Tyler Hero. But again, I think that this would be a great opportunity for Brad Stevens to go to Indiana, get them back on the map, get them back to prominence in the Big Ten, and really get them back to really being a great team because, Indiana is known for their basketball. I mean, any Indiana person can tell you that. I've heard so many stories from it. You watch Hoosiers, you watch all these movies. Indiana basketball is kind of the mecca. I think, a lot of people say New York and all this other stuff, but, Indiana has its history too. And I think that they need to get back to that history. But the problem is, and what I'm noticing is that they're struggling to find their identity as it pertains to this whole situation. So, at the end of the day, we'll see what happens. I would love to see a revival, a resurgence of Indiana basketball, and I think Brad Stevens would be the perfect candidate. And then it turns into, who do the Boston Celtics get? Do they reunite with Doc Rivers in the near future? Obviously, I know he signed with the 76ers, but if that doesn't work out, does he go back there? You see a bunch of guys on the bench for NBA teams. Maybe does Nick Nurse make the jump? Does he go to Boston and, kind of go away from Toronto? Toronto, obviously a good team, but it is what it is. I would love Masai Ujiri, honestly, to come to Boston. LeBron James, Le GM, is officially an owner of the Boston Red Sox. And does that mean now that, with Fenway Sports Group, I think also owning the Boston Celtics, now does LeBron James kind of, when he gets older, does he slip into that GM role and comes to Boston and tries to help Jason Tatum win a championship? I don't know, but I think that's what I would love to see. That's where I would love to see the Celtics get back to prominence, get back to a situation where you actually notice that they're going to do a good job of building this team, of constructing a team that's actually ready to go to the playoffs, actually ready to go and battle out in the Eastern Conference. Because look, I understand that, Kyrie Irving, Kevin Durant, they're probably going to be in there for a couple years. Whatever happens, whether it's a breakup, whether it is a situation where they both, want to, try and win a championship on their own now, whatever the situation could be for those two. I would love to see that happen for the Celtics to take advantage of an opportunity where, like I said, this was an oven-baked process where we kept the cake in too long, and now the cake is absolutely, ruined. It has some good ingredients, but the cake is dry. The icing's not there. There's so many missing ingredients to this Boston Celtics team that it is so frustrating to watch each and every night to see that, look, we should have been able to beat Kevin Durantless Brooklyn Nets. I understand that they have James Harden, they have Kyrie Irving, two transcendent players. I get that. But at the same time, they don't have the most transcendent player out there, Kevin Durant, on the court. And I'm really worried about him. And maybe we'll talk about it a little bit later. But it just seems like, I just feel like Kevin Durant gets hurt a lot more often than not. And I want to see him back on the court. I want to see him play. But again, kind of go back to the Boston Celtics. I do think that it is time to kind of, try something new. Try to find something that's actually going to work. Look, Brad Stevens has done a tremendous job for us. He's probably had winning seasons for the most part in his NBA career. But at some time, at some point, either you need to just take a back seat in terms of players that you want to bring in, or Danny Ainge needs to get fired and you bring in someone new. Because, I think, one, you're probably wasting Brad Stevens' coaching career by not really playing the right players, and really not really getting Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown to buy into your system. It seems to me it's more ISO ball. I understand a little bit of 5-out with maybe a little bit of a pistol action on the side here and there. But again, losing to the Jazz tonight was not a good feeling for me. I don't think it oozes confidence. And again, it gets us in a bad predicament. And I think Danny Ainge is past his prime in terms of finding us talent, finding us, trades to happen. We talk about all these trades these past weeks. The trade deadline, I believe, is coming up really soon, and there is yet to be any deal on the door because we don't have any of the assets to do it. And of course, the assets that we do want to trade are definitely not, or that people want, are the things that we don't want to trade. But anyway, guys, that is going to do it here for the Charge. Again, I do apologize for a short stream, but this is going to be more of like a video stream-esque type of thing. So please hit the live chat or the comment section down below. What do you guys make of this Brad Stevens stories? Do you guys think that Brad Stevens should take the Indiana job as the Celtics are still floundering in this mediocrity? Or do you think that it's better to keep the NBA job and just kind of deal with the way that it is at the moment? But anyway, guys, that is going to do it here for the Charge, bringing you the latest NBA news and rumors and also basketball opinions as we move on to the next transition slide. I do appreciate each and every one of you for joining me here tonight. Please remember to hit that like button. Also remember to hit that subscribe button if you're new. Like I said, we're going to be trying to live stream each and every day, Monday through Friday. Obviously as basketball continues for me, coaching wise, it could change a little bit of things. But again, shout out to Dame Dollar, 50 points. The Portland Trail Blazers coming back from a big deficit to win the game. Dame Dollar hitting it at the free throw line. Zion just couldn't hit the bucket at the end. Brandon Ingram missing 2 key free throws. But like I said, this is your boy Bernie here. Thank you for joining me, and I'll catch you on the next video. Peace.